Kevin Cope back at you from Supermicro, continuing our podcast on single deployment of an SCC appliance. We went through some of the pre-flight checks within our configuration. So I want to point out some of those in the area where you're very interested in to knowing what we've done here to speed up our basically podcast is answering a couple of questions. And don't worry, I'll show you exactly the questions it basically asks. So the first thing is it's going to ask you what our IP address is of the .199. It's auto selected. It's going to ask you the next question is what's your upstream DNS? We're going to plug that in. And then the next thing it's going to ask you is your storage service class. So that's very important. So if you have not done any pre-flight checks of the storage class or service class you want to utilize, back up, stop, and don't continue on because it will create you lots of aggravation, right? And we don't want aggravation when we're installing. We want a good user experience. We don't want you frustrated. So do the prep work up front, right? Just don't jump in head first and think everything is going to come together. Because in my humble opinion, when you jump into something like this and you don't read the documentation or you don't do your homework, it creates lots of aggravation. And that's a way for I say technology to keep you humble, right? So let's plug in the right configuration for your storage class offering. And then it's also going to prompt you for defaults for cluster network and service network and Docker for this CNI. So you can just take the defaults on that one when it prompts you through, just hit return all the way through. And then it's going to come to the section where it's going to ask you what is the storage service class. And this is the question that's going to ask you is, please select the Kubernetes storage class. And we're going to choose in our option number 2, right? Because that is what we configured for NFS when we initially started this. The next thing it's going to ask you is, what is the IP address of the NFS server? So have that ready, right, when it prompts you, right? Don't guess because the install will fail. So plug in the right IP address there. Make sure it's not a duplicate, right? Sometimes we have a tendency to go out there and not kind of shoot by the hip and don't have an IP address assignment to it. Please make sure you have an IP address assignment and you document it. We're going to plug in 172.24.199.112. And then it's going to ask us the NFS path. Again, don't guess. This is the NFS path. If you put the wrong NFS path in, the install script will fail, right? Eventually, right? So make sure you plug in, that information correctly. And then you have other options here, whether you're configuring it for Ceph in this documentation. So we provide this documentation on purpose, right, for you to follow it, right? So read the documentation, make sure you don't guess, and make sure you follow it. And if there are any issues with it, please let us know. But we've ran through some regression testing and things of that nature. So the other thing is when the install script goes, we execute it called install.python. We had mentioned a SCC installer that exists on the physical server, right? So that one there is through bare metal installs. We put a repository out there, which is contained here. Let's get out of here for a moment and see here. The install.python is the one that you want to execute. We've basically taken the save set, which was a compressed file. We extracted all the bits and they landed in this directory here called SCC. So if we PWD. If we show the directory structure here, it's called SCC SEV2.91. This is the file that you pull down from the portal. It's gone through regression testing. It's gone through security checks. It's gone through all the various different checking mechanisms for system lab validation, security development lifecycle. We go through rigorous testing, making sure that these are solid before they go out onto the industry. And the final approver is our CEO. So he either gives a veto or he gives approval or thumbs up to move forward with the build out into the production portal. So just a little bit about that information in regards to what we're doing here in the back end to make sure and secure that these bits we are doing our due diligence here to make sure we take and test this. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is basically get into the directory structure itself and then run the install Python. And when you, like I said, run it for the first time, the Python, it's going to go out into that pre-check that allows you to put the NFS server and all that stuff, right? So we've ran all through that initially, and now we're ready to basically set up the host. So we basically choose option number 1. But you see there are other options here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 9, and quit. All right. So 5 is used for you to scale out in your data center. So if you had additional hosts that are out there that you needed to utilize a worker, then you would basically deploy it. You would deploy it on a VM, or you deploy it on probably a physical server, depending on how you want to do that. And we're going to follow the options from 1 through 4 to install our single node deployment for the first time. So we're going to choose option number 1, and option number 1 kicks it off, and then we start basically communicating to internet mirrors out on the internet. So this is what we call online mode. We're actually using the dependencies on the internet mirrors to pull down those software dependencies. And if we were doing an air-gapped type of install here, that install would basically use an offline installer, which we would provide. Supermicro would provide that to you. And you would follow the installation guide to place the offline installer in the corresponding directory here, and then you would basically kick it off, and basically it would pull those software dependencies from the offline installer. So that in a nutshell is what's going on here for the setup host option. I'm going to let this continue on, and then we'll see on the other side here. So I bid you a great day. Thanks for joining today, and look forward to working again with you in the next video of going through the next steps to a successful SCC deployment and bringing magic into your data center for SuperCloud Composer. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.